If I'd clocked out 5 minutes earlier that night, I wouldn't still hear the footsteps echoing through an empty office that hasn't been used in 3 years. I used to work the night shift for a small insurance firm in Ohio. It wasn't glamorous, just data entry and document scanning, but the pay was decent, and the peace of a quiet office at night suited me. I've always been the kind of person who works better without people around. Back then, I didn't realize how dangerous that preference could be. The company occupied the 3rd floor of a 6-story building built in the late 70s. At night, only one other tenant stayed open, a janitorial crew that came in around 2 a.m. By 11 p.m., when everyone else left, it was just me, the hum of the copy machines, and the occasional creak of the old air vents. I'd been there nearly 6 months when things started to feel off. The first time it happened, I was scanning a stack of forms when I heard the elevator ding. Normally, that wouldn't be strange, but the elevator only stopped on our floor if someone swiped a security card. It was 12:43 a.m. I checked the time because I remember thinking, the cleaners don't come for another hour. The doors slid open. Nobody stepped out. No sound, no footsteps. Just the low hum of fluorescent lights flickering over the empty hall. I waited a moment, expecting to see the night guard, maybe another employee who forgot something. But no one appeared. When I peeked around the corner, the elevator doors were still open, the inside light casting a pale square onto the floor. The 3 button on the panel glowed softly. Then, as if something invisible had stepped inside, the doors closed. The elevator descended. I laughed it off, told myself it was a glitch. Old building, old tech. Still, when I went back to my desk, I caught myself glancing toward the hallway every couple of minutes. That night, I left early. 2 days later, I stayed late again. The office felt heavier, like the air itself was thicker. I'd finished my reports and was walking to the break room when I noticed something strange on the far wall. Our reflection in the glass divider, or rather, my reflection. Only it wasn't moving the same way I was. I froze. In the reflection, I was still typing at my desk, back turned, when in reality I was 10 feet away staring at it. I blinked, and it was gone. Just my pale face in the glass, lit by the monitors. I convinced myself I'd imagined it. The eyes play tricks when you're tired. Except the next morning, my supervisor asked why I'd been logged in past 3 a.m. I told her I hadn't. I'd left before 1. She turned her monitor toward me, and sure enough, my user ID had been active from 12 to 3:07 a.m. Files opened and closed, documents moved. There was even a short clip from the security cam in my cubicle. I watched, confused, as the grainy footage showed me sitting at my desk, typing slowly, head down, motionless between keystrokes. Only, that wasn't me. The shoulders looked wrong, too hunched. And the head, it didn't move naturally. Every few seconds, it would jerk slightly like a glitching video frame. I asked who else had access to my login. My supervisor frowned. Nobody, she said. Only you. That's when I started to hate being there alone. The following week, I tried to leave earlier. But deadlines kept me later each night, until Friday, when the storm rolled in. Thunder rattled the windows, and rain streaked across the parking lot below in silver lines. Everyone else left before 9. I stayed because my internet at home was down and I needed to upload some files. By midnight, the building felt completely cut off from the world. No outside sound, just rain and humming lights. I plugged in my earbuds to drown the silence, then noticed something. From beneath the music, faint and rhythmic, like a soft tapping. At first I thought it was rain hitting a vent. But when I paused the music, the tapping continued. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps again. Coming from the far end of the hallway where the elevator was. I called out, "Hello?" No answer. The tapping stopped. I stared into the hallway. It stretched about 30 feet before ending at the glass doors to the elevator lobby. The lights beyond were dim, motion sensor controlled. But as I watched, they flickered on one by one, as if someone was walking slowly toward me. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera, zooming into the hall. Nothing there. The lights just kept turning on all the way to my door. And then, click. The handle to the copy room behind me turned slowly. I froze. The copy room was always locked after 10 p.m. The handle rattled again, more forcefully this time. I whispered, "Who's there?" Silence. Then the door creaked open an inch. The air smelled like damp paper and static electricity. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. I took a step toward the door, and that's when I saw a hand. Pale, thin, fingers too long. It reached out and pressed against the doorframe, pulling the door wider. I bolted. I didn't even grab my bag. I sprinted down the hallway toward the elevator. But the moment I hit the call button, the lights shut off. Everything went black. I could still hear the rain, but faint now, like it was miles away. I fumbled for my phone flashlight, shaking so bad I almost dropped it. The beam cut through the dark just enough to show the exit sign glowing red above the stairwell. I ran for it. Halfway down the stairs, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Instinct told me don't answer, but fear made me do it anyway. A voice whispered, "Why did you leave your desk, Sarah?" I dropped the phone. I didn't go back for 3 days. HR said the building had some power issues that night, that the cameras went out. When I finally returned to grab my things, the night guard pulled me aside. "Hey, you were here Friday, right?" "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile. "Why?" He scratched his head. "Because around 2 a.m., I saw someone matching your description on the monitors, sitting at your desk. But when I came up to check, the floor was dark. Nobody was there." He looked uneasy, like he was debating whether to say more. Finally he added, "It's weird. That floor's been empty since 2022. We just rent the space for storage now. I thought I left that office behind. But whatever was sitting at my desk that night, it didn't leave me. I didn't sleep much after that Friday. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd see that pale hand curling around the doorframe. I'd hear the voice on the phone whispering my name. When HR said I needed to come in to sign off my resignation papers, I almost said no. But curiosity is dangerous, and it's what got me back in that building. It was Tuesday afternoon when I parked outside. The sky was a washed-out gray, like the world itself was holding its breath. The building didn't look haunted, just ordinary concrete and glass. But standing in the lobby again made my skin crawl. The security guard from that night, Mark, was at the front desk. He looked relieved to see me. "Hey," he said, lowering his voice. "You really quitting?" "Yeah," I muttered. "Just need to sign some stuff." He leaned closer. "Listen, between you and me, they didn't tell you everything." I frowned. "About what?" He glanced toward the elevators, then back at me. "You ever notice how that floor smells damp sometimes? Even with the AC?" I nodded slowly. He continued, 3 years ago, before your company rented it, there was a flood. Sprinkler system malfunction. But one of the cleaners, a temp guy, got locked in the copy room. System shorted, door sealed.